everyone, it's Jack and Adam from Cultaholic.com. It's a bloody hat trick. Take the match ball home with you because it's 3 news videos today. It's been just a hectic day of news, to be honest.
I'm in a bad mood, Jack.
Why?
I'm in a very bad... Well, we've just been looking at the lineup for various festivals.
Oh, yeah, we have, yeah.
And I don't recognise any of the bands anymore. There's a band called Dave.
No, that's a band. That's a rapper, I think. That's just one man.
Just do the headlines, come
Yep,
on.
let's do the bloody headlines, bloody Dave. First of all, a former WWE superstar has said that he told Vince McMahon that he was insulting the audience's intelligence before leaving the company. Next up, apparently key WWE management were not at Raw or SmackDown this week. And finally, WWE have reportedly signed a top indie talent. So first of all, let's go over to newly signed AEW wrestler Shawn Spears, formerly known as, of course, the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger in WWE, who was a guest on Chris Van Vliet's YouTube channel. He's been really doing some big interviews recently. There was the one with, who was it who got sacked? Was it Dasha Fuentes? He did one with her. He did one where he's been doing ones with various different people. He seems to be on the non-WWE side of things, the indie side.
Oh, he's got friends in wrestling. Why don't we have friends in wrestling?
We've got Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah, Gabriel Kid, hello.
Yeah, and he basically he was asked a wide range of questions, including his thoughts on AEW. How significant are the Peyton Royce? Oh yeah, he's a Peyton Royce. He's the
luckiest man. Sorry, carry on.
WWE, and a big fan of Peyton Royce, and a lot more. Now, at one point, he was asked about the differences between All Elite and WWE, and he actually gave a big scoop, revealed all about his last meeting with Vince McMahon before asking for his release in February. And he said, credibility is the big difference. One of the last conversations I had with Vince, I went into his office, I needed to say what I needed to say. The biggest difference between both companies is credibility. Talent needs credibility. They don't necessarily need pushes, but they need credibility, which is an interesting angle to take, actually.
I really agree with. Because there's literally, the roster is too big for everyone to be pushed all the time. Yeah. But credibility is an issue too, and we see that more than ever now with 50-50 booking. Yes. It just feels like there can't be somebody who loses all the time, there can't be somebody who wins all the time. Yes. So everybody feels less important as a result.
Yes. He then said, if you're watching the product and 2 guys come out and you're already able to tell the finish of the match based on entrances alone, that's a problem.
Shout out to Sasha Banks and her moody face as she enters.
I'm not sure it's true or not. I thought it meant who has more fanfare for their entrance.
No, I think that's what it is. But apparently there is the theory that you can tell if Sasha Banks is going to lose if she looks a bit grumpy on the way out.
But I've checked and I don't think you can, unless she's realised and stopped doing it. But I don't know. Because now we're giving an audience the opportunity to change the channel. We're giving them the opportunity to text on their phone. They don't care. They're not invested. And that's what I said to the chairman. I said, with all due respect, because all these stories start with all due respect, I think we're insulting their intelligence. Apparently he kind of looked at Ty Dillinger or Shawn Spears and said, oh, S word. What?
But we're not going to do anything about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, dear. Damn. Oh.
Right, see you later.
Yeah, right.
Have a good time in the Battle Royal. Go on.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it is a real issue, and I've said this before on a video, but you wouldn't be watching Game of Thrones, have a character change his name, and it never be acknowledged, like what happened with the Viking War Raider experience. Yeah, why not? You can bring these things up if you're going to make changes, and just week in, week out, we see predictability. They're just not fun shows to watch anymore. It hurts me to say, because I want to enjoy them.
Yes, I do as well.
It's been like a crap few weeks, few months in fact. Not just in terms of WWE, it's just like, I feel like I'm being steadily ground down by the WWE product every week. And we try to be really positive at Cultaholic. That's our whole thing. It's very difficult at the moment.
And I feel like as well, a lot of, and I was one of the ones who got caught up in a bit of the flack about it, I was quite excited when All Elite was a thing, was announced and everything, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then there was a backlash towards people like me, with people going like, just want WWE to fail, don't you? It's miserable. No, it'll push everyone up, hopefully. It'll improve the quality across the board. That's the theory anyway. So hopefully
we've seen it before, haven't we? Monday Night Wars, both had to be on their A game. One was better than the other, and the other. But I think we're in a different realm now in which we could have 2 top promotions in competition. And still succeed. I don't think one needs to fail anymore. It's not like WCW, WWE.
No. And New Japan is really up there as well. They seem to have upped their game since All Elite took off. Their past couple of shows have been outstanding. So yes, exciting times, but Shawn Spears, well, I mean, you can never tell how exaggerated or how true it is, but...
And then I punched him in his face and he knocked out and he said, Sean, you're the best!
And everyone cheered. Next up, let's go to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, who says that apparently Vince, Stephanie, Triple H and Kevin Dunn all were not at the California tapings this week. So Raw and SmackDown both took place in California and they all weren't there. He did point out that Stephanie isn't actually a regular usually. She's only there if she's needed on screen. But the others, it's strange they're not there. Especially Vince and Kevin Dunn.
That's apparently Kevin Dunn doesn't turn up if Vince isn't there anymore. Triple H was needed in Florida for NXT because they've just bulk taped, or they're bulk taping over the next few days. Loads and loads of NXT weekly, which I think leads them all the way up to NXT TakeOver Toronto.
Right, the SummerSlam weekend one.
Yeah, it's weird that if Vince isn't there, Kevin doesn't want to turn up either. It paints him as such a little gremlin, But it's, I guess, weird because I didn't notice any differences in the quality of the show. Sometimes when you hear that key people aren't backstage, weird things sort of happen. It was a very safe but also very average episode of Raw and SmackDown this week.
It felt like a normal week of shows. But apparently Ed Koskey was running around, kind of the de facto man in charge.
Yep.
Which, fair enough. Oh, Dana Warrior was there. Meltzer also says, working hands-on with Lacey Evans. I don't know that Evans is a Warrior project, but she does work heavily with Evans on her promos. Wonder why? Because Evans is already good at promos.
Yeah, Evans is a good promo.
She's already a good promo. Is it just to get Dana out of the way? Like, go and talk to Lacey.
I don't want to I don't understand Dana Warrior's credentials for doing this.
No, same.
And I don't know her background well enough. Maybe I should. I'm being unfair here.
Maybe she's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't know. And we'll probably never find out. But the promo between her and Becky this week was good.
Right, but I think Lacey's just good anyway.
Yeah, fair.
I think Lacey is someone who's good at, like, in a Dean Ambrose way. She can take a script that isn't that particularly good and just make it her own.
Yeah.
Even without deviating from it, she can just deliver it quite well. So I don't understand, but yeah, quite a ghost town backstage at Raw. No, the roster's absolutely massive. What am I talking about? No. Next up, a top independent talent has reportedly, this hasn't been confirmed yet though, reportedly signed with WWE, and it is only bloody one of the biggest women's wrestlers outside of WWE in the world. Session Moth Martina has reportedly signed. Now we don't know this for certain. But apparently in the UK, according to Meltzer, there are already people talking as if she's signed. But I know that you want to correct Dave on something that he said in the Observer.
He said, hailing from Scotland.
He didn't say hailing from Scotland.
He didn't say that. He said she's Scottish. She's very much not.
She's Irish.
Scottish. There you go.
Oh, man.
This worries me a little bit because it's a character who I really enjoy seeing. I've seen her live countless times now. We had her in WCPW, a one-off thing. She's at North this weekend in Newcastle. We're going to go and see that. But yeah, you've got her character, if you're unfamiliar, is, how would you describe it?
Just a big lad. She loves the sesh. Right, so she comes out, she drinks cans, she dances around to like techno music. She's very like...
She's sometimes got condoms down her...
I think they'll get rid of the
pants.
condom shtick.
I think so too.
Maybe the drinking shtick as well, I suppose.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's
Because
kinda,
it can't be, you've got to be a role model now.
She's kind of like millennial girl Sandman.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So she comes out to Darude Sandstorm.
Yeah.
That'll be sad to see that go as well. But you've got to imagine that we're going to get a significantly more watered down.
A toned down Martina. She can wrestle, she's good in the ring, so that shouldn't be a problem. It's more just, well, how are they going to portray her then? If they can't portray her as like a lout on the streets? What are they going to do?
She can still do the dancing and the sort of shabby, for want of a better word.
I guess she'll just be like a party babyface type.
Yeah, it can still work.
Oh, she's gonna be.
And I think NXT UK is in need of some more big characters. I actually think she'll be really fun to watch. It's an interesting one. Also, I keep saying it's an interesting one, but it is interesting here because she is part of, I think it's David Starr's independent project, which is. All I've seen is T-shirts at the moment.
Independent.
It seems to be a sort of anti-WWE. Hey, we can make our living away from Stamford.
Yeah.
And she's been pictured in those things, and that's launching very, very soon. So I guess...
think it may have actually launched already. Also, I'm not sure, I'm not exactly certain, but Matthew mentioned something today on the podcast at the time of recording. We recorded the podcast today, and Matthew said he might have got it wrong, but he said something to do with the independent thing. She was pictured with a T-shirt. And then she was pictured at the tryout, and it was very close together, the two things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, once again, we must stress that it's not been confirmed that she's signed.
No,
it's just what Meltzer thinks.
But congratulations, if so.
If so, And also, let's take a look at 2 injury updates on WWE Superstars who've been out of action. Rey Mysterio, who of course was injured recently in his feud with Samoa Joe, is hopefully being back in action by early July, according to the Wrestling Observer.
Happy with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's always a bit of a worry when older guys do sustain an injury,
Yes.
so it's nice to see he's coming back sooner rather than later.
Also, Lars Sullivan, I didn't even know about this, but
No.
he sustained a minor injury and was pulled from SmackDown, where he had a match scheduled where he was going to beat Matt Hardy.
Well, it doesn't say beat. Oh, it does say beat. I think it's a fair.
He was
fair assumption.
Even if it hadn't said beat, actually, you never know. There might be a DQ again, like there has been. But it was pulled due to an injury to Lars from the night before. But apparently, it's minor. He's expected to be back in a few days. So yeah,
all wonderful stuff. Positive news to think.
Hey, got a bit more news as well because today the Observer came out with the newsletter rating star ratings, right? So Goldberg Undertaker got a dud.
Oh.
Now,
Well,
that
yeah,
means
it's
that
fair. I didn't give it grade ungraded.
Now that means that Andre versus Hogan from WrestleMania 3 is worse than Goldberg versus Undertaker. It's not. I'm just like. But Meltzer did give Andre Hogan like -3 stars or something.
Yeah.
When he was a teenager, when he was bloody contrarian, when he was
Smarky bastard.
Also, another 5-star match, Ospreay versus Dragon Lee, has been
Fantastic
added to the
match.
canon of 5-star
Fantastic
matches.
match.
Great match. And also, he didn't give a rating to Naito Ibushi. Which
That's
is interesting.
interesting.
He said it could be. He said you could be. That's an interesting one. He said it could be graded from anywhere from negative stars to 4 3/4. That's what he said. Anywhere between there.
And this is just because
depending
of
on your opinion of.
I mean, they were killing themselves, and
Yes.
the spots where they're landing on the tops of their heads and their necks,
Yeah.
they're just scary to watch, and
Yeah.
they took away from my enjoyment of the match.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy
Same.
seeing people potentially shorten their career.
Yeah.
Just.
He also said as well, which was him and Alvarez on the radio like a few days ago now, but he said a very interesting point of view was something I'd never even thought of, but it's like they're 2 top guys in New Japan. Are they putting pressure on the younger or less experienced guys? Do they now think, well, we've got to do that to get to that stage of the card now as well?
It's a great perspective.
Yeah, it is. Good. Not something that I think that Ibushi and Naito would have deliberately set out to do.
No, sure, but it sets a precedent,
It does
doesn't
set
it?
that sort of precedent. It's quite a dangerous one. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter @Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.